Drea Humphrey here with an urgent update. Rebel News is under attack again. This time, it's not just a lawsuit, it's an attempt to silence us completely in some ways. Some of you may know that Jessica Simpson, formerly Jonathan Yaniv, one of Canada's most atrociously controversial trans activists, is suing us in the BC Human Rights Tribunal. Yaniv is the same individual who attacked our staff.
Will you be pleading guilty? What? Go. No, go. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Hey! Stop! Go away from me!
Threatened me and my family.
Is your dog a real service dog? Or just identifying
Go away!
Go
Go!
away from me.
Go!
Back
go,
off.
Go!
Do you have anything to say to Mr. Funk's family?
Go!
Back off.
Go!
Back off.
You know what "f*** off" means? I'll give him
Control your dog. Don't threaten me.
You. I have the picture of your kid on here, by the way. You want to see? You like that? You like that, Drea?
And has preyed on minors and vulnerable individuals alike.
Why do you send sexually explicit messages to young girls?
Go away!
Huh?
Go away!
Huh?
My iPad.
Why don't you?
Now!
And yet somehow this tribunal is letting that same monster weaponize their tax-paid-for system, not just to silence us, but to open the floodgates for more one law for me, one law for they, them beneficiaries to do the same. So today I'm sharing some details of our legal defense filed by an amazing lawyer on our behalf and asking for your help. We're already 10,000 and counting for legal bills to win this fight for freedom of press. So please, if you're able to, please go to our special website right now, open up another screen and head to stopyaniv.com to donate what you can. In a country where parents can't opt their children out of getting a hold of cartoon porn in schools, and the state has declared the entire summer as Pride season like it's our nation's holiday, repeat violent trans-identifying offenders like Yaniv can get away with a lot. And that's where Rebel News comes in. Unlike the mainstream media, who ignores all of the menacing to society Yaniv has been doing because it no longer fits the narrative to follow, we warn the public of the risk Yaniv poses to society. We tell you the other side of the story. And when Yaniv has tried to stop us from doing so in real courts, like the Supreme Court, we've actually had major successes that have caused precedent for freedom of press. Like how just last summer we hired a prestigious lawyer to successfully strip down a publication ban that Simpson was hiding behind in order to target a mentally disabled man without the public knowing. Or like how in 2022 the Supreme Court tossed a defamation suit that Simpson brought on against our reporting. We hired a great lawyer named Dan Coles with Owen Bird Law, and he successfully helped us get that case dismissed. The judge ruled that Yaniv's case against us was weak, and it was a claim without many merits, and pointed to Yaniv's history of threatening litigation and commencing legal proceedings with a view of stifling criticism. The judge also said Yaniv provided scant evidence of having any harm done. We asked for your help covering our legal fees with both of those important battles and never even broke even with either or, but it was worth it for you to hear the other side of the story, even when someone who identifies as trans, and by the way, now identifies as a Christian indigenous trans woman, is breaking laws or manipulating our court system and normally getting away with it. But we don't take a dollar from the state. So how many fights can we afford to win for freedom but lose in costs? And what will news be like without us around to fill in the gap? Let me tell you why this particular lawsuit is different. We're not playing in a real court of law now, but we can still end up with very real and dire consequences if we lose. Yaniv is in Yaniv territory now by suing us in the activist-led quasi-judicial BC Human Rights Tribunal, a tribunal that's a familiar stomping ground for Yaniv because it's the same system Yaniv used to try and extort innocent female estheticians by bringing on lawsuits against them for refusing to wax her male genitalia, a tribunal that in many ways drums to its own beat For example, the 2 complaints filed against us were filed over 3 years ago, and we only recently found out about them. And the main complaint here, well, it's almost identical as the bogus claim made against us that the Supreme Court already tossed out. In fact, 10 out of the 12 reports listed here were already ruled on, yet the tribunal is still letting this go forward against us under the BC Human Rights Code Section 7 provisions, which, unlike defamation cases where journalists can relax if they followed the facts, has nothing to do with factual reporting. Instead, an excerpt from Section 7 here states that the BC Human Rights Code makes a publication that is likely to expose any individual or group to hatred or contempt as unlawful. This is what the woke left is trying to use to shut us down. Not whether our reporting is factual again, but whether someone's feelings may be hurt. Unless they're mine, of course. Because this is an example of the actual hate speech Yaniv said against me when I was reporting.
Nigger, 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 fuck you.
We've hired Dan Coles again. He's sharp. He's brought us previous successes. He's the right fit, but he's not cheap. And he's made some really good submissions here in our responses. Coles has rightfully pointed out that this case is a flagrant misuse of the human rights system to suppress lawful and important reporting. He further submits that the fact that it's from so many years ago, these complaints, and that the Supreme Court has already ruled on almost the exact same thing for the main complaint, it makes it so. He also submits that Yaniv's second case or complaint against us, where he's essentially, or she's essentially accusing us of retaliation, well, that is just reporting the news. That's what we're doing. That's what our job is. Now, I'll link both complaints and our lawyer's response to them within the written article for this report, which you can find below in the description box. But before I let you go, let me leave you with this. If Simpson successfully defeats us in the tribunal and then gets to have some of our reports censored from the public, and we get hit with hefty fines, who will be next to bring on the same type of bogus complaint against us? Will it be the male athlete I informed you about who's breaking women's basketball records left and right while female competitors fly to the floor? Or one of my colleague, David Menzies' examples, such as this one on the rugby field? Will it be the male with a wig on who was caught peeping at a little girl under the stall in a women's change room? Will it be the male murderer suspect who allegedly cut off a man's penis but the media refers to as a woman? Or will it be the school board vice chair that doesn't like that I've reported about how inappropriate it is to be swinging nude on a wrecking ball on your YouTube channel for the students in your district to easily see? And one more example out of BC. Will it be the trans woman identifying baby rapist, an admitted baby murderer, who has identified into a women's prison that has a maternity program? I don't want to find out. Do you? Drea Humphrey for Rebel News. At Rebel News, we don't back down from bringing you the other side of the story, which is why we get sued by those who don't want to be exposed. If you want to be a part of defending free speech and defending Rebel News, please go to stopyaniv.com.